happens if you buy 200 grams of chips, but only get half of that in the bag? You may not pay attention to that little number, but more and more people are checking if what's on the package is actually what's inside the bag. And the numbers don't always add up. So we wanted to find out who's actually checking that you get what you pay for, and what happens if a company does underfill a product, even accidentally. Everyone is talking about shrinkflation. That's when a company reduces the standard packaging size, but still charges you the same amount. This is something different. What we're talking about is when the weight on the package doesn't actually match what's inside. More and more people are saying this is happening to them. It's important to note we haven't independently verified these videos, so it could be that some home scales just aren't accurately displaying the weight. But we do know at least one of these incidents prompted an investigation by Loblaw. So, who actually monitors companies for this? And what's the penalty of selling a 200-gram bag of chips with only 150 grams in it? We asked the Canadian Food Inspection Agency about this. And it might seem obvious to say, but no, companies can't lie or mislead the public about what volume or weight is in their product. There are actually a lot of detailed regulations about accurate weight labeling. There's even rules about the acceptable margin of error. And by the way, it's pretty thin. But who's checking that these rules are actually being followed? The CFIA told us companies are supposed to monitor themselves, but they do inspections to make sure those guidelines are met, and they also respond to consumer complaints. Okay, but what happens when they actually find a company underfilling a product? And how are the rules actually enforced? Well, depending on the case, consequences can range from verbal or written warnings, monetary penalties, detention of product, product recall, and even prosecution. The CFIA says the action they take is proportionate to the food safety risk and the seriousness of the non-compliance. But they also told us they take into account how often a company has broken the rules and whether the company purposely violated the guidelines. Remember those chips Loblaw was investigating? Well, they determined it was a rare occurrence, and they told us they connected with the customer to gather information. Plus, they said they're working closely with the chip company to ensure all their bags are checked and to regulation. The chip vendor committed to spot checks and testing to make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, but let's say you bought something that didn't live up to the advertised weight. What can you do about it?
How and when can we hold them accountable to ensure their packaging actually reflects what we're paying and what we're getting?
The CFIA takes this issue seriously and says it wants to hear about consumer concerns. You can report any product you think is underfilled on their website. By the way, we went online and it's not super clear how to report something specifically about weight or volume. And if you think this is a whole lot of fuss over a couple grams of chips, remember, this is happening at a time of record high grocery prices. As we're paying more for our food, every gram matters. Has this happened to you? Our colleagues at CBC Marketplace are looking into this story. They want to hear from you if you've brought home an underfilled item. Get in touch at marketplace@cbc.ca. Also, be sure to check the description below for our sources and for more useful links on this topic.